Okay, I'm going to sit down today and join my group here. I'm glad we have so many kids. Okay.
I'll use this mic.
Oh,
You just
okay. That's good. Okay, everybody. Can you hear? Okay, this is a story about two apples. Okay, first of all, I want you to pass these apples around, kind of look at them, give them a little look. Everybody look at it, look at them. I have to use this. Okay. Okay. These apples are both very pretty apples, right? Very pretty. But as I look at this apple, I say, oh, I don't know. There's something wrong with it. I don't know. It just kind of looks a little different. Doesn't it look different?
Misshapen.
Oh, it's misshapen. You think it's misshapen? Well, yeah. This one's more perfect. This one's perfect. They've decided this one's pretty perfect. But this one's misshapen. That's a bad thing. Very bad thing. Okay, well, it's got a scar on it too. It's got a scar. I think this apple looks ugly. It really does look ugly to me. So you know what? I'm just going to throw it on the floor. Okay, it's ugly. Okay? Now, would you like to pick up the apple? Now, since we've established that this apple is not nice like this one, I want everybody to say something bad to the apple. I mean, say something bad. And then, if you want, you can just show how bad it is by throwing it on the floor too. You can't say something bad about that apple? Well, he doesn't like the apple, so we're going to throw it on the floor. Okay, well, let's pass it around. You know what? You don't want to throw it? Yeah. Caitlin is going to... No, you were supposed to say something bad to the apple. Like... You can't think of anything bad to say, Julio. Look at that apple compared to this one. Look at it compared to this one.
It's not going to be as easy apple.
What? Well, we already said it's ugly. Why is it ugly? It's got a scar. What else? What else do you notice about this apple? It's misshapen. Okay, so every time okay, here. You don't like its color. It looks kind of pale. Looks kind of pale and sickly. So throw it on the floor then, I guess. Yeah, that's what it deserves because it's not perfect. Okay, let's pass it down here. They probably have some things to say about the apple. We already know it's not a good apple. Jeremiah, what do you have to say about it?
I'm going to say it looks ugly.
You want to say it looks ugly. Can you think of something, Juliana, that you might add to the apple? What else? Compared to this one, look at this one. What about its skin?
It looks white. It looks like it has leprosy or something.
Oh, it looks like it has leprosy. Okay, oh, that's bad. It's a leprous apple, so definitely it needs to be thrown on the floor.
Throw it on the floor.
Throw it.
Oh, whoa. Okay. Michaela, can you think of anything else to look at that apple?
It's not going to be a sweet apple.
How can you tell?
This seems like it.
Okay, she says it's not going to be sweet because it doesn't look good, right? Okay, so you know what? Ooh. Okay.
Well, that's a really
Well,
nice apple.
we've said a lot of things about this apple. Well, now, I want you to look at the two apples again, compare the two apples. Okay, well, just, okay. So pass them down. Inspect them very thoroughly, like you were the California fruit inspector. Oh, now I'm, okay. Ooh, okay, let's see. Boy, these people really get mad when they get mad. I mean, they're angry. I shouldn't say mad. Only dogs get mad. Okay, they really didn't like that apple. Talk about bad apples. Now, how many would like to eat some apple? I bet everybody loves apples. Okay. Well, let's see. No, first we'll cut this one. Let's see it cut. Not perfectly in half, but look at this. It's beautiful on the inside too, right? Yeah. Let's look at this one.
A little bit.
I see. What do we see on the inside of this one?
It's a little bruised.
It's bruised. So it has some scars. Scars on the outside. Scars on the outside. Bruises on the inside. Right? So, let me see. So we could definitely, I will pass this good apple around so you can have a piece of it. Take out the core. Okay, how many do we need here? Okay, you can pass that around. And as you're eating the apple, did anybody want that other apple?
No.
Why? Because it's awful, it's ugly, it was ugly, it's bruised, it was what? What else? Misshapen. Okay, I think I heard that. And it didn't have pretty skin. One was bright skin and the other one kind of had pale skin. Okay. So, I hope you realize that was a little lesson. And maybe you can figure out what the lesson might be about. Julia, what about you? Do you want to guess what the lesson in that story might be? What are the apples? Who do the apples represent?
Satan and Jesus.
Well, kind of, in a way, Jonna. Kind of. I think, the Satan that's in some people and the Jesus that is in some people, when they treat people nicely, then who's in that person at the time? When they treat people nicely, who's in them? Jesus. And when they treat people badly and they're rude to people, then who is in them? Satan. Okay, that's a good way of putting it. There is a term out there these days called bullying. And some people know what that is like. Okay? And unfortunately, there might even be some people who have even bullied somebody because you could, because you were bigger, because you were older, because you were many things that you see that you are superior. Well, what happens when you bully somebody like this apple? You may not see it on the outside. I mean, it still pretty much looked like the other apple on the outside, except there was a little juice coming out of it. But otherwise, it looked pretty good. It would look like it was intact. But when you bully somebody, they may look good. And they may look good even for a long time. But what happens inside? What happens inside, Leo? They are hurt inside. Have any of you ever been the object? Have you ever been bullied by somebody? How many here have been bullied? Okay, I know I have. Have you been bullied by anybody? You are extremely
You guys are lucky.
lucky. You have been bullied by somebody. So you know that is not a pleasant feeling at all. And people carry those scars for their whole lives sometimes. Sometimes they get help with their scars and they rise above it. It's called being resilient, and you bounce back. This other beautiful apple didn't have to bounce because everybody thought it was okay. But the other poor apple represents those who have been bullied. And you know what? It's very, very sad. Sometimes our parents do not mean to, but even parents have bullied their children. People you respect, older people who you have respect for, they may bully somebody. Maybe it happened to them when they were younger. That's what happens sometimes. When we have been bullied as children, sometimes people act out when they're older and bully other people because they need somebody to feel better than, okay? But usually people who have been bullied just kind of keep their heads down. They might look sad. Sometimes they look okay because they're afraid to let down their defenses, okay? So, from this little story, this illustration, we can see that we do not want to bully other people because those scars will last a long time. And if we have been bullied, we know, and we would never bully somebody else. Because the Bible says that in the golden rule, anybody know what the golden rule is? Very good. Okay, so if we remember the golden rule, treat others the way you would want to be treated, then you would never bully someone. And in fact, if you see somebody who is being bullied, what can you do? What can you do? And what should you do? Yes, John?
You could say stop fighting.
You could tell that person, intervene. Okay, it's called intervention. You could step in and say something, or tell somebody else that this person is being bullied. Okay? It's really sad when nobody helps that person. You know, I'm going to tell you a story. I lived on a farm when I was growing up. I lived on a farm and we had chickens. I think I might have told this before. We had chickens. And you know, they call it a pecking order. Pecking order. So there's the chicken at the top. And there are chickens who are perceived as lower. They're not as good. Chickens have this little order that they follow. And so they would get a chicken in the corner of the chicken coop, and they'd start pecking at its head. I saw this. They would peck at the chicken's head. And guess what happens? If that chicken is pecked enough times by enough chickens, what do you think happens?
It would die.
The chicken died. They pecked into its brain, and the chicken eventually died. That is the most graphic thing I've ever seen to represent bullying, because that's exactly what happened. And it happens in the world of animals. And in the world of people, we bully each other sometimes because we perceive that person to be less than we are. Okay, so I hope you've learned a little lesson from our apples here. And so do not bully. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And Michaela, would you like to have a little prayer? Just a little one.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day, and thank you for bringing this lesson to our attention, because this is going on, and please be with all these kids, and so that it does not happen to them, or stays away from them. In God's name, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Michaela. Okay.
The children's offering